In discussions about what it is to be a leader and how one can think about improving one's leadership skills, we often hear that it's worth finding ways to know yourself better, to understand your deeper self. It occurs to me that that's really quite difficult. How do you go from I'm me and I feel I know me to, oh, actually there's more about how I am and how I behave that I may not be aware of. A very useful tool for this is something called the Jahari Window, which is a simple grid that lets you look at what you know about yourself and what others know about you. And it splits into a number of areas. You've got the arena, which is what you and others know about you. You've got what others know about you and you don't know about yourself. That's the blind spot. And then there's the deeper levels. What people may not be aware about you, but you know, and then what's sitting in the unconscious, what's completely unknown to everybody. So just talking about that feels a bit inscrutable, but one reason it's worth thinking about it is as we are pushed to change and we're going through the next washing machine cycle of the next stage of where we're at with the pandemic, we can expect change will continue to rumble around us, and that will unconsciously press our buttons. And this is where the Jahari Window idea can become very useful. It's the things that we don't know about ourselves that become more important at this time. How do we respond? How do people perceive the responses that we give? How do we internally take on what people say to us? What do we interpret of that? And the Jahari Window in those two areas, in the blind spot and the facade, which is where there's stuff you know about yourself but others don't. Taking time to think about those areas can help you start to better understand some of your responses as a leader. So let's think about how you might explore, for example, the blind spot. How can you actually do that? Because it can be quite confronting to do. The first is you can ask for feedback from people. And the challenge for you is to take the feedback and resist the urge to try and address whatever people bring up, to take it on board and then go and reflect upon it. That can be quite hard to do, I know. I don't wish to hear everything about my behaviour. And it's also where things like assessments can come into play. So things like Hogan's, the 360s, these are all really great ways to help bring it to light, perhaps things that others know about you, but that you may not be aware of about yourself. The challenge for you is how you can tolerate hearing things which may be counter to your belief about yourself. So you may feel that you're thorough and precise. Others may read that as overly detailed, and that might be, they're both two sides of the same thing. Just finding a way to not answer it, but just take it on board and reflect upon it. These can be great steps for you just to start to broaden your understanding of your deeper self.